Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Dino Dream Jurassic Park release. If you happen to have caught my recent Dilophosaurus review, in that review I did state there are actually two brand new Dilophosaurus releases from Dino Dream. This is the second of the two. This is the Dilophosaurus attacking, and we can see the packaging is gorgeous, just like it was the first time around with the Dilophosaurus looking back. The packaging and the artwork on this again is about as top-notch as you are ever going to find, and somehow I got an even lower limited edition number. With this one I have 77, which is really exciting. But as per usual, I said it the last time, again I'll say it again, Dino Dream deserves a round of applause just for their packaging alone. That is absolutely fantastic. And as you move around the box, you will see a very cool Dilophosaurus sort of paddock sign over here on the side. You'll also see the Jurassic Park logo up there on the top. Over here on the other side, a shot of the model, and then Dino Dream. And then if we turn it around, it is upside down, so we have to flip it back over. You can see again Dino Dream, Dilophosaurus attacking, a whole bunch of images of the model itself and some information on the model as well. So absolutely psyched about this. Need to pop it open right now and check it out because I'm dying of anticipation basically after looking at the first Dilophosaurus and seeing how good that one was. I really cannot wait to see this one. So let's get this box open and check it out. So just like with usual Dino Dream models, you get a very cool card. You can see the card does have the limited edition number kind of stamped onto it, so it's not something that can be like wiped away. You'll never lose that limited edition number as long as you keep your card. And then you can again see the Dino Dream logo there on the back, but the artwork again is absolutely fantastic on these cards. I love them so much. And then of course our model itself, and look at that. Dino Dream just continuing to knock it out of the park with these Dilophosaurus. It looks so good. And what's really cool about this one, and just like I had stated in the previous review, I stated that you really needed to go check out the Lana Time shop listing for this because Dino Dream actually gave them a really long and like very specific description of the creation of their models. And what's cool is with the other one, we obviously had seen that was a moment from Jurassic Park that they had recreated. This one, however, is very different, and I've actually never seen anybody create a model of this. This isn't technically, you know, from the film Jurassic Park. This is a recreation of the model from Stan Winston Studios' meeting room. There's actually an exhibit of a Dilophosaurus prop with a full-scale Dilophosaurus emerging from plants with a warning sign about the danger of the Dilophosaurus and everything. And you can actually see this again in the meeting room of Stan Winston Studios. And that is what we are looking at here. Dino Dream has gone ahead and given us a very cool movie Dilophosaurus, as well as this version, again, recreating that entire model in the Stan Winston Studios meeting room, which is incredible. Again, I've never seen anybody make something like that, and you can obviously see that Dino Dream has really excelled when it comes to that right here. This thing is absolutely insane. So let's go ahead and pull it over here to the side. We'll grab our Dilophosaurus and bring that in and check that out first. Now this one has a very different look compared to the first Dilophosaurus we had taken a look at, because obviously we have the frill extended and the mouth wide open. The first version had the frill relaxed and also had the mouth sort of open slightly to where you could see the teeth but not really open all that much. This one you can obviously see has the frill wide open. If you get nice and close and take a look at the head sculpt, and my camera focuses, you can see the head sculpt looks really good, absolutely sporting the classic look of a Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus. We can also see tons of variation of color here in the face, again with blacks and greens and browns and all sorts of color. Of course, that white that sort of outlines the darker patterning and everything. We can also see the teeth sculpted out, looking pretty nice and sharp on the inside of the mouth, also painted. My camera continues to lose focus for some reason. If we look inside the mouth from the front, we won't see much because my camera still doesn't want to focus. We can see the teeth and everything, but we can also see the tongue extending out, and that's basically what I'm trying to point out. You can see that there's actually variation of color to the tongue, and it does darken as you lead out there toward the tip. You can kind of see it right there, I think, potentially. You can see, there we go, like the transition out from kind of like a orangish tone, but if you go further back into the mouth, there's like pinkish tones, and then it transitions out to a darker tone for the tip of the tongue. So super impressive, very fine details like that impress me. And then when you look at the frill from the front, that's definitely got to be some of the nicest paintwork that I've seen on the frill of a Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus released from any company. Most times you get, you expect this super cool, quite high quality look to the paintwork of the frill, and then you get something very generic. Like, just speaking of that, really reminds me of my Iron Studios version of the Dilophosaurus that I got, where it just did not look that great. The paint job was really quite lackluster in person. And another thing that I really love about this is when you get nice and close and you see all of the massive amount of paintwork and colors applied to the frill, you'll also notice that, as per usual, Dino Dream gives us the most, I would say, screen accurate Dilophosaurus, although this one technically isn't one that we had seen on screen. But the appearance to the scale detail to the frill here is also super well done and perfectly matches up to the way it looks on a Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus. It just has that very specific style of scale detail to it, and you can see that on this version. So again, they are always about as accurate to what a Jurassic Park dinosaur would look like when it comes to the Dino Dream versions. But there's so much color, so much variation of color, and again, really an impressive display occurring from this Dilophosaurus. If you come around to the side and we look at the back of the frill, you can now see again even more variation of color, and this is of course that one area of the frill of a Dilophosaurus you don't get to see too often from Jurassic Park. And yes, there is meant to be some patterning and stuff on the back, and it looks really good here. Again, when it comes to the Dino Dream version, you can even see again the skin texture and everything looks excellent back here as well. Really smooth transitions as we lead from the darker green in toward the center of the frill with the lighter green, and then of course all of the different variations of color with the patterning, lighter and darker shades. There's just so much color on this that is super impressive for the model. As you begin to lead down here through the course of the neck, you can see some more of the patterning. You can see also kind of like a scoot-like appearance following along the spinal column. We even see some reddish tones down here in the throat, but not nearly as much as you would see if the frill were relaxed down there in the neck, because of course you would then be seeing kind of like the colors that you see here on the frill a little bit more. But there is still some kind of like reddish and pinkish tones to that area. As you lead down, you can see the arms are held up into the body quite nicely. We've got a nice shot there of the elbow, as well as some really nice looking scale detail. The rib cage as well is shown off here in the sculpt, and again you've got all sorts of variation of color through the course of the body, with some slight hints of like brownish tones as well as variations of greens. And then you of course have the darker tones moving along the top, which also features some tints of green to it, which is exactly what we had seen on the first version of the Dilophosaurus we reviewed. And then there's of course the white that kind of follows along the darker patterning and also kind of like breaks up, and you've got like some spots and stuff of that white as you follow along as well. As you lead down into the hands, we can see, if my camera focuses, there we go, the hands are really nicely sculpted. You've got some nice bends to the fingers. We've got more of that reddish tone over the scoots of the fingers as well, and the nails again looking really nice. You've got some nice paintwork on them. They honestly look like they may even have like a little bit of a dry brushing over the nails to help highlight the detail even more. And the nails just genuinely look so realistic, again, with that nice sharp look they have. But as you move back, you do see, again, a little bit of a bend to the body here of the Dilophosaurus. The stomach kind of sucked in a little bit right there. Again, really recreating the appearance to the Dilophosaurus from Stan Winston. As you move along the back, you do still see, again, that scoot-like appearance moving over the spinal column, the hip bones as well, protruding through the skin, as well as the very nice muscle definition and incredible looking scale detail as you lead down through the thigh. You've got more of the patterning following down along the front of the thigh. As you lead down into the knee, you see it disappear, and then we have a really nice gradual transition from the green of the leg down through the calf into a reddish tone, moving down into the feet. We can see the feet are sculpted nicely. Again, they also have some scoots moving down the toes, and then again the nails painted with a nice black, and again having a nice genuine sharp look to them. As we move back, we've got a few wrinkles back here behind the thigh when it comes comes to the skin leading into the tail. And then we follow out through the tail again with that patterning, basically following along the top of the tail, and then the greenish tones, as well as an even lighter tone here on the underside of the tail. And you can even see almost like a slight sort of striping effect following along through the underside of the tail of the Dilophosaurus, and you can really see a really nice curve to the tail as you lead along the underside of the Dilo as well. And as you move along here on the underside, not only can you see how nice the detail looks, you can also see like some pinkish tones on top of the lighter tones of the underside of the figure. And then of course when you look over here on the more dominant side, you see a little less of the neck because the neck is turned and the frill is extended, so it's a little harder to see it over here on this side. But as you move down into the body, you can see the arm is in a little bit of a different position, just slightly higher than what we see on the opposing side there. You've got the rib cage again showing here the very nice focus camera, nice vibrant scales as you move through the stomach. Again, more of the patterning following along. Moving down into the side of the dinosaur, you lead back. You can see the one leg is kind of taking a step forward here as the Dilophosaurus is walking along. You have the kneecap right there, and as you move down again, you can see the scoots leading down through the shin all the way down into the feet, and then when my camera loses focus completely, you can see the toes and everything, and again, the scoots moving down through the toes, the nails looking quite nice, the dew claws as well, again sculpted out and painted. And then we lead back out, and now the tail kind of curves toward us here, and again it looks absolutely gorgeous, just like it did on the first side. That is an absolutely awesome Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus. And then we, of course, have the base, and the base is fairly similar to the base we had seen on the first Dilophosaurus, but rather than the kind of dirty, muddy sort of a look, although this does still sort of have that kind of look, for the most part, we see a lot more greenish tones included in this, kind of giving it like a mossy kind of forested setting, which the other base sort of had, but was a little bit more of like a dirty, muddy kind of a look. But we can also see one really nice touch, which is again also present on the model that you would see in Stan Winston's meeting room. You can see we have the Barbasol cannon. That is really nicely done. It looks extremely lifelike and realistic as far as the, coloration and everything that's added to it. It looks just as it did in the film. You could even see the tiny little words on it. It also has a nice dirty look to it. Again, a nice muddy look like you would expect to see. As you move back into the base a little further, we can see the footprints of the Dilophosaurus. We've also got more vegetation, just like we had seen on the other base, kind of hiding some stuff in here, like the bottom of the sign, which is sort of hiding within the bushes here. And then as you move up, you have a very cool kind of like a paddock sign, like a warning sign for the Dilophosaurus, which we can see looks super nice. We also kind of like mud splattered on it and everything, again giving it a nice realistic weathering sort of a look. And of course the danger sign on top of everything, which is absolutely epic. And that pretty much is the entire base. Again, other than that, you basically just have like texturing and really nice earthy tones throughout. And then of course the Jurassic Park logo right there in the front. And then, oh, it's backwards. We've got to turn it around. So we have the Dilophosaurus attacking here on the underside. Again, 77 out of 999, which again shows you the limited edition number. Really nice high quality underside to the base, and you also have the little circles here to make sure it stays nice and stable on top of everything. Now, we have to apply our Dilophosaurus back on here. So there we go. Once you stand it back into its little peg hole there, it stands very nicely and looks fantastic. As far as a size goes, for the Dilophosaurus, for a length, if we go from the further side of the frill to the tail, you are looking at about 7¼ inches, or a little over 18 centimeters, maybe heading toward 18.5, or just shy of it. And then for a height, about 4 inches or 10 centimeters to the top of the frill. The highest point of the base would be the sign at about 5 inches or around 12.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A human being next to our Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus from Dino Dream. And you can see again, this one is sized pretty much the same as the previous version was. So not much difference when it comes to the two different different Dilophosaurus models, they are both, again, 1/15th scale, so they should size up pretty much the same. And to show you that, here are both versions of the Dilophosaurus here, showing you that they look absolutely incredible next to each other. But I honestly love having them displayed like this, because it looks like maybe like a pair of Dilophosaurus here. And I love the differences when it comes to the poses of the two. But even though the earthy areas have a little bit of a different look, I could very easily see them kind of like transitioning into each other. So even the earthy areas kind of look like they could be part of the same area, which of course makes the models look even cooler next to each other. And then one final comparison, because again, these are like kind of tricky models. I don't really know what would compare too well with the other models here, because like, you know, when it comes to a diorama, it's just tough to find things, I think, that would compare, you know, easily to these models. So we'll just bring in the Dino Dream, again, Raptor on the window, just for one more comparison to show you that the Dilophosaurus is a little bit smaller than the Dino Dream Raptors. So yet again, Dino Dream has done it again with another gorgeous release, another fantastic Dilophosaurus, and I'm so happy to see how both of these have turned out so nicely. And again, I also love the fact that they're so different while being kind of the same. So of course they do feature Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus, but I love that this time they've gone the route of a very different pose, a very different sort of style to the model, because rather than taking a scene out of Jurassic Park, they've gone and replicated a model from Stan Winston's meeting room, which is a very cool looking version of the Dilophosaurus, sneaking out from behind some bushes as well as the sign, and obviously throwing up the frill to give us a very impressive display, again telling you either get away from me or you are about to go down. And that's exactly what I see here with this Dilophosaurus. The sculpt is fantastic, perfectly replicating a Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus yet again. The paintwork is also really well done, especially in the frill. I am super impressed with how good the paintwork of the frill looks, but the paint moving through the rest of the body looks great as well. Again, lots of variation of color, really slight subtle variations, nice depth to the paintwork of this one. And again, just like the other Dilophosaurus, maybe one of the best painted Dino Dream models yet. The base is fantastic as well, featuring, you know, iconic things like the Barbasol can, as well as that very cool Dilophosaurus sign. And I love the fact that, again, that shows danger Dilophosaurus right as a Dilophosaurus is actually sneaking out from behind the sign to attack. And then, of course, the Jurassic Park logo there, as per usual, is the icing on the cake when it comes to these releases. So just like with the other Dilophosaurus, you can still order these. They are a limited edition, so if you are interested in ordering them, I would highly recommend doing it as soon as possible. And once you check that link from Lana Time Shop, you head on over there, you're ready to grab your model. Make sure you scroll down and read all the information, again, that was provided by Dino Dream. It'll really give you an entire another level of respect for the creation of this model and showing you what Dino Dream had gone through just basically to get this created, and again, all of the research they did. So check all of that out. Definitely pick it up through the link in the description, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.